On the 21st of April 2020, Queen Elizabeth II turned 94. She has ruled longer than any other monarch in British history. As Queen, she has been served by 14 UK Prime Ministers, including Winston Churchill, Margaret Thatcher, and more recently, Boris Johnson. Becoming a much-loved and respected figure across the globe, her extraordinary reign has seen her travel more widely than any other monarch, undertaking many historic overseas visits. Known for her sense of duty and her devotion to a life of service, she has been an important figurehead for the UK and the Commonwealth during times of enormous social change. But at this point, is the British monarch's role purely ceremonial, or does she hold any real political power? Because many people still don't understand what kind of authority Her Majesty has. To answer the question about the real power of the Queen, let us start with the relationship between the Queen and the Prime Minister. The Queen has a special relationship with the Prime Minister, regardless of their political party. Despite the fact she is a constitutional monarch who remains politically neutral, the Queen retains the ability to give a regular audience to a Prime Minister during his or her term of office. The Queen gives a weekly audience to the Prime Minister, at which she has a right and a duty to express her views on government matters. After a general election, she has the prerogative of the appointment of the Prime Minister.
I have just been to see Her Majesty the Queen, who has invited me to form a government, and I have accepted. We're going to fulfill the repeated promises of Parliament to the people and come out of the EU on October the 31st. No ifs or buts.
After a new Prime Minister has been appointed, he is invited to a ceremony called the Kissing Hands. In the past, it referred to the requirement that the office holder actually kiss the hands of the sovereign, as a symbol of personal fealty and loyalty to the sovereign, that fealty and loyalty being a requirement to serve in the King's or Queen's government. In modern times, office holders are not expected physically to kiss the hands of the sovereign before assuming the role. Simply being received by the Queen is taken to validate the selection. Now, let us speak about the Queen and the Parliament. The Queen has an important formal and ceremonial relationship with Parliament. The phrase Crown and Parliament is used to describe the British legislature, which consists of the Sovereign, the House of Lords, and the House of Commons. Opening and closing Parliament. The Queen must officially open Parliament by addressing both houses in the Queen's speech, to show how neutral she is. The speech is not drafted by the Queen, but by the government, outlining plans and future legislation.
My Lords and members of the House of Commons, my government's priority has always been to secure the United Kingdom's departure from the European Union on the 31st of October. My government intends to work towards a new partnership with the European Union based on free trade and friendly cooperation.
The official term for shutting down Parliament is proroguing. During this period, there are no sittings in the House of Commons or the House of Lords. That means MPs and peers do not hold debates or vote on laws. The decision to prorogue rests with the Queen, done on the advice of the Prime Minister, and it's exactly what happened in 2019. Boris Johnson asked the Queen to prorogue Parliament so he could avoid opposition to his Brexit plans. Parliament may have the power to make the laws, but the Queen must sign off with the proposed bill before it officially goes into effect. She must give what's known as royal assent, which means that she approves the proposed law, or doesn't. The last time a monarch didn't grant royal assent was in 1708. On top of the prerogative of the Queen and the government, she also has the abilities to pardon criminals. The Queen has the royal prerogative of mercy. It's one of the historic royal prerogatives of the British monarch, by which he or she can grant pardons, informally known as a royal pardon, to convicted persons. This is another power, though, that she doesn't use much nowadays. The original purpose of royal pardon was to provide an exemption from the now abolished death penalty. But what you have to know is that the practice of royal pardon is less common today. The Queen doesn't need a passport to travel. When traveling overseas, the Queen does not require a British passport. The cover of a British passport is in EU format, maroon in color, and features the royal arms. The first page contains another representation of the arms, together with the following wording. Her Britannic Majesty's Secretary of State requests and requires in the name of Her Majesty all those whom it may concern to allow the bearer to pass freely, without let or hindrance, and to afford the bearer such assistance and protection as may be necessary. As a British passport is issued in the name of Her Majesty, the Queen doesn't have to possess one. All other members of the royal family, including the Duke of Edinburgh and the Prince of Wales, have passports. The Queen commands the armed forces. The Commander-in-Chief of the British Armed Forces, also referred to as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Crown, is a constitutional role vested in the British monarch, currently Queen Elizabeth II, who as head of the state is the head of the armed forces. All British soldiers must swear an oath to her before officially joining the armed forces. The Queen and Honours. As Fountain of Honour in the UK, the Queen has the sole right of conferring titles of honour on deserving people from all walks of life, in public recognition of their merit, service, or bravery. The most well-known honours are probably MBEs, OBEs, and CBEs, but there are a whole range of other honours that the Queen awards in addition to these, such as the Order of Merit, or the Order of St. Michael and St. George. According to some of the oldest traditions, the Queen is the ultimate source of power in the British government. The British legislature is formally known as the Queen in Parliament. But as we saw, in modern practice, the Queen wields no real political power to act independently of the wishes of Parliament or the Prime Minister. I hope you found this video interesting. If you are new to the channel, consider to subscribe and then hit the notification bell icon. Thanks for watching.